This is the limitless Keith Lee.
This is Brody King.
This is Angel Garza.
Will Ospreay.
Hornswoggle.
Pentagon Jr.
The villain, Marty Scurll.
The Mexican Rey Fenix.
King Ricochet.
Concrete Rose, Sunny Kiss.
And I'm here to ask you to stop what you're doing, take just one moment, and bask in the glory of the busted wide open.
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 Boston wide open.
Busted wide open podcast.
You're listening to the Busted Wide Open podcast, dropping the elbow on the hottest topics in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. With your hosts, Nick Howell and Sir Ian Dangerous. Coming to you from the Orbital Jigsaw Network Arena in sunny Southern California. Welcome everybody to BWO Live, coming to you from the internets across the BWO universe of Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. This is episode number 317 of Busted Wide Open. My name is Nick Howell.
And taking you all out to the deep water, just like apparently every wrestler out there right now who has to insert that line into a promo recently because apparently they all spent the entire pandemic taking swimming lessons. I am Sir Ian Dangerous, and welcome to the show. And yes, it is the deep water time of the year, Nick. It's WrestleMania season. We went home to WrestleMania tonight on Smackdown, and we also have to talk tonight about AEW Dynamite, which happened earlier this week, but we usually talk about it on Friday, so we got to talk about it tonight. It's a crazy show. Nick, we got to make a WrestleMania Pick'ems.
Oh,
that's tonight.
That's the biggest part of this show. That's really the biggest thing to talk about tonight.
Pick'ems. That's why I said that the loudest.
Yes.
But yes, the Pick'ems. It's time, Nick. Oh my God, we have to choose who we think's winning at WrestleMania. I don't know about you. I'm not ready. It's tomorrow.
We need to address something first.
Okay.
And I think you have a point. And I'm gonna catch you off the spot here. What are you wearing?
What do you mean? What am I wearing?
What is that?
What is this?
What is that?
Oh, that's nothing. That's just a little shirt that I happen to have on.
Hey!
Oh, that's an awful cool shirt.
We weren't gonna get through the whole show without somebody seeing that. So I wanted you guys to get, or we wanted you guys to have get a sneak peek at it right here at the top of the show. Coming soon. Coming soon. Coming soon.
Yeah, just you wait.
That's all we're gonna say about it.
Build the excitement. We'll leave it at that.
Listen, we got a little bit of business to go over. It is live. Patrons, phenomenal ones. As of before, as we were going live, I hit publish. Your WrestleMania Pick'ems form is live. You've got 14 matches, 3 bonus picks, and a tiebreaker time to work through by 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So just a little under 24 hours. We wanted to give you as much time as we possibly could. There was only one change that we experienced tonight. We're going to talk about that as we break down what Smackdown and go through our pick'ems. But linktree.com/BWO. We are on night 3 of the BWO Live Marathon. We spent the actually it's 4. This is the 4th night because we did Tuesday.
Night 4. Yeah, we did Tuesday too. Time means nothing anymore. Nick, I was surprised. Usually they throw all kinds of changes at us at the very last minute. Only one minor change, and it was kind of telegraphed. Yeah. We kind of knew it was coming from early this week. So, no, not bad. I can live with that.
Get over there and do your pick'ems over the course after the show, of course. Don't try and do them now because we got some stuff to update you on from SmackDown tonight. But linktree.com/BWO. If you're keeping up with all the things busted wide open, that's the place to go to find all the links to all the things. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell all your wrestling buddies we are the show, and come hang out with us live across Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, wherever you'd like to interact with the show. We love you guys. Make sure you get into the group. Make sure you get into the Discord. Number one priority for everybody should be getting into the Discord for the live chats for the next 2 nights because they are going to be lively. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. Make sure you get into there. Plus all kinds of other stuff like tech, gaming, just chatting channels, all kinds of fun stuff is on top of the wrestling as well. So make sure you get into the Discord with the links, or you can get a little link to it by doing !Discord right here in the Twitch chat. So thank you guys for all of that. Big shout out to all of our patrons. The scores are up. The spreadsheet is up on Patreon as well, so you can track your progress. Current lead is being held by one Andrew England, who almost ran the card perfectly across 2 nights of NXT Stand and Deliver. He's currently sitting at 53 out of 55 total possible points.
That's amazing.
He nailed it. Let's see if
Already,
he can keep
no
that
one's gonna be perfect this
momentum going into WrestleMania.
I want to point out already no one's going to have a perfect score. Last time we did this at the Survivor Series, we had a few perfect scores. This time, no one will have a perfect score. That's madness. Last time people only won or lost based. There was a tiebreaker. There was, we had bonus questions. They were the reason people won. That's like bets. This time, all bets are off. This is going to be absolute madness, and it's only going to get crazier over the next couple of nights. So, yeah, here we go, baby.
Yes, indeed.
Here we go.
Well, thank you guys for playing along with us. We're looking forward to seeing how this grand BWO Patron Pick'ems Championship continues as we go into WrestleMania the next 2 nights. But Ian, let's not waste any more time. Let's go over what happened on a relatively quick Friday Night Smackdown.
Relatively quick, only in the sense that it was mostly just promo videos.
Yeah.
And promos. People cutting promos. There was only 3 matches. 3 matches.
It reminded me how NXT used to go home to takeovers. They would just
used to.
Yeah, like
they still do.
Before they went live, obviously. I mean, but they would spend an entire Wednesday, hour and a half doing nothing but video packages.
We're done making matches. We're just going to sell you on the show. Like, we don't need to. And it's funny because, the old adage was you want to be able to talk butts into seats. And that did actually play a part on this SmackDown. We had multiple. We had 3 men's straight up just promos in the ring. We had 2 women's promos backstage. And then just a metric crap ton of video packages put together for the various matches across both shows, across both nights of WrestleMania. And I have to say, Nick, let's start with the men's promos here, because you had Daniel Bryan opening the show, Edge halfway through in a nice little spotlight on a chair, very dramatic, and then Roman Reigns coming out at the end, standing next to Paul Heyman and Jay Uso, and giving a little closer to the show, which at this point it was kind of a Roman Reigns 101 speech, but still, like, he found some new nuances in it and made some very salient points. Daniel Bryan came out and also did like a Daniel Bryan 101 speech where he went, he said essentially, I'm Daniel Bryan. I shouldn't have been in this match, but I am because I'm Daniel Bryan. I'm the underdog guy. Like, I make these things happen. I'm sorry, Roman and Edge's feelings are hurt, but that's the way it is. And I'm going to get in there and can I do this? Can I beat these guys? Yes, I've shown that I can. Yes. And that was his promo. Meanwhile, at the other end of the show, Roman Reigns, his promo was all about how Edge and Daniel Bryan are dreamers. They're dreaming if they think that they can take the title off of him. They're dreaming. They dreamed their way into this match because, there was no real reason for them to be there because it's Roman Reigns and, he should just have the title and no one should question him ever. But he finished it off by saying, you can come for me and it doesn't matter. I'm Roman goddamn Reigns. I'm going to win anyway and walk out champion because that's just what I do. And ended the show and then walked off. And that was it. That was your go home, was Roman Reigns saying, yeah, great. Thanks, Edge. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks for coming, Edge. Thanks for coming, Daniel Bryan. Y'all are dreaming. I'm Roman Reigns. The standout here, Nick, and I don't know, for me at least, I don't know if you agree, was Edge.
I thought all 3 of these were top notch.
They were all top tier promos. I would say that Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns felt a little bit more run of the mill to me, and not, I don't want to make that sound like I'm being derogatory. They were very good, but also just very normal. Yeah. They were standing in a ring. They were saying, I'm going to beat the other guy. That's it. Edge, on the other hand, decides to get into the middle of the ring, sit in a chair, and deliver a Shakespearean soliloquy for about 6 minutes, 7 minutes, all about his motivations, his reasons, his mental space, his history, why Roman Reigns is a rip-off Samoan Edge, which was just brutal. He says, you come out, let's see. You came out in a 3-man group, coming out through the crowd, and your finishing move is a spear. What more do you want to take from me, Roman? Saying Daniel Bryan had weaseled his way into his triple threat slot at WrestleMania. And then finishing off by getting really intense and saying, do any of you have any idea what it takes to come back from what I came back from?
He was speaking to me directly here, I felt.
Really?
In the way that, so you know that I've been a little vocal about my disdain for Daniel Bryan being inserted into this match. And a lot of the reasons for that are the ones that he outlined here. He went end to end in the Royal Rumble. He earned this spot. Yes. What has Daniel Bryan done? Right? I am of the ilk that wanted to see the singles match, and I can count Sonya Deville as one of my what's the word I'm looking for? Teammates in this.
Yeah, she was backstage with Adam Pearce saying, I wouldn't have made it a triple threat.
So I'm curious where that's going to go. That's sparked my interest. But anyway, I'm here going, preach, Edge. Yes, this is exactly what I've been saying. Nobody wanted Daniel Bryan in this match, except for Daniel Bryan.
I wanted him
and Surrey and Dangerous, apparently.
Yeah, I totally wanted him in there. I totally want this is a more interesting story to me. I agree. It's a little bit more unwieldy. Yeah. It's more unwieldy. But part of that is because it felt not like Daniel Bryan was thrust into it, in terms of, I feel like you could have built a story with these three guys, with these three personalities. But the fact that Edge had to change his whole demeanor once Daniel Bryan looked like he was going to be inserted shows to me this wasn't the original plan. And the fact that it wasn't the original plan meant that it stumbled in the middle of this build. And for some people, like yourself, it never recovered. Yeah. It never regained its momentum. So, and I understand that.
I get it. There.
I just from my toes to the top of my head. But again, it never caught its footing again for some people. I'm just happy to see the three of these dudes in a ring. All three of these promos, as we said, were great. I could give you, and I will give you when we get to our pick'ems, a whole litany of reasons why every guy could and should win this. So for me, this is I'm loving it. And these three promos were in my opinion the best parts of the show. Which means it's all downhill from here. So let's talk
video
about
packages and a couple of matches.
Yeah. So let's actually jump to the very end here. I want to take actually something from the end of our notes here and talk about the women's promos. Okay. Because they sucked. Straight up, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it for you. They were scripted and not scripted well. They were scripted extremely basically. At least when I say that Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns gave Wrestling 101 promos, I mean Wrestling 101 as in like you should strive to do this kind of thing. Simple, basic, straightforward. They're hitting the notes they need to hit, and they're finding interesting ways to verbalize that. The women did not find interesting ways to verbalize that. They said it about as straightforward as possible. Come on, Kayla. I'm the EST. That means that I'm the roughest, the toughest, the fastest, the quickest, the smartest, the best in WWE. And at EST WrestleMania, I'm going to take out Sasha Banks and prove that I am worthy of being on top and that she's been the boss, but I'm the next best thing. I'm the next top best thing. Sasha Banks comes on later and goes, I'm Sasha Banks. I am the best. I'm going to prove that Bianca is good, but not as good as me. Which is apparently, that's literally how she ended the promo, was with a bahaha. Bahaha?
Oh, Jesus.
So, exactly. It's a tale of two tapes, a tale of two worlds, a tale of two promos, a tale of two different creative ideas about how to build main event matches. Those are the two main events. It's official. Bianca and Sasha are main eventing, closing, finishing. They are the end match of night one.
They're the endest.
They're the endest of night one. They're closing out night one, which means that we had promos for the closing night matches of night one and night two, and they could not have been more different in terms of their punch, their intensity, their verbiage, and their message. And I think that's disappointing.
It's extremely disappointing. I don't have anything else. I have no more words for that we haven't already said for the Sasha and Bianca thing, and I'd rather just go do our pick'ems. So no need to regurgitate all of that nonsense.
Let's rock through the rest of SmackDown then, because you know what, and this is the thing, is I feel like WWE has bungled so much of the build for this WrestleMania, and yet I think they're still going to have a good show.
It's going to be a good show.
That this SmackDown, it really did feel like just face planting at the 1 yard line, and yet we know on their next play they're going to get the touchdown. Do you know what I mean? That's what this SmackDown felt.
It was one
like,
of those taunting things where they turn around and they're backpedaling, and then they trip over their own heels, and then they still, quarterback sneak it through at the end.
Exactly, and win the game. Yes, it's what it feels like right now. So let's talk about the rest of SmackDown, or as I like to call it, the pre-show to WrestleMania, because they put the two pre-show matches that they would have had at WrestleMania on this SmackDown. Pre-show match number 1, the arm bar. Wrestling move number 1, arm bar. Wrestling move number 2, inverted arm bar. Yes, the Honor the Giant Memorial Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Andrei Rusimov Memorial Battle Royale. So they keep trying to tell us it's a prestigious accomplishment. A prestigious accomplishment won by such luminaries as Mojo Rawley, Matt Hardy in his second tour in WWE, Big Show, Cesaro,
and Baron
Corbin. Yeah. So we had the armbar. Now it's basically become the goon match. We had, let's see. Let me list off everyone who was in this match. The Hurt Business, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. The remnants of Retribution still wearing their goddamn masks. T-Bar, Mace, and Slapjack. Akira Tozawa, Drew Gulak. Tucker made an appearance, about 50 pounds lighter. Tucker losing some weight. Eric the Viking from the Viking Experience. Viking Raiders. War Machine. Mustafa Ali, Kalisto, Angel Garza, Jay Uso, Murphy, Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, Lindsay Dorado, Grand Metalik, Jackson Riker, Elias, Humberto Carrillo, and the aforementioned Baron Corbin came back with some nice new gear. Nick, it should be noted that only 3 people got an entrance for this match. Shinsuke Nakamura, we came back from commercial and saw the end of his entrance. Baron Corbin got an entrance. And then Jay Uso came out absolutely last. Nick, when we were watching this live and Jay Uso came out, what did I text you?
Oh, that he's going to win then, or something like that.
Yeah. I was like, well, could they telegraph it any harder that Jay Uso is going to win? Now, at least sometimes
Actually,
in the past,
your exact text was, Jay totally winning this, isn't he? LOL.
Yes. Yeah, that was my exact feeling was, because I thought Shinsuke was winning it, and then Jay came out and was like, oh, no. Guess who the last 3 guys were, Nick? Baron Corbin, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Jay Uso. Everyone else sucks. Hey, Ricochet, remember when you were awesome? Not anymore, buddy. Good thing you went to WWE and went to the main roster. Hey, Humberto Carrillo, remember when you were a blue chipper? Hey, everyone who was in this match. Hey, Hurt Business, remember when you were tag team champions? Now you get ignominiously dumped out of the match like a third of the way in by the entire rest of the roster. Just all of this was brutal. Brutal. Hey, Tucker, remember when you were a tag champ? Tossed out like nothing, like garbage. Hey, Eric, remember when you were a tag champ? Tossed out like nothing.
Kalisto, remember when you were a cruiserweight champion?
Not anymore. Tossed out like garbage. Oh, boy.
I have to look at this and go, 1, why do the 3 entrances like that if you're going to have the other 37 dudes come out all at the same time? 20, however many it is, 27.
It's not even like you have a crowd there to try to get behind those 3 guys.
Right.
Look, this is not new. WWE has been doing this kind of thing for a long time. You have the Goon Squad Rumble match, and the important people come out last and get entrances so the audience knows who to root for, and they know who to pay attention to in the match. That's literally why they do it. And they're probably doing it now for the home audience watching on TV. But man, does it make the first 4/5 of the match, where all these other guys in there, a lot more boring, because you go, cool, just get all these other insanely talented wrestlers out of the way. Let's just toss Murphy over the top rope. Let's toss out Lindsay and Grand Metalik. Let's toss them all, and Riker and Elias too. But let's toss them all, and then we'll eventually get to the actual match, which is Baron Corbin versus Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jay Uso in a who can go over the top rope match. And then we're down to Shinsuke and Jay Uso. Jay eats a Kinshasa, but Reverse is getting tossed out and tosses out Shinsuke instead. Awesome. Jay Uso wins and then gets to stand beside Roman Reigns at the end for his final promo of the night. So
cool.
Who of all the guys in this match, Nick, let's keep our bitterness going here. Who got done the dirtiest in this match? Hurt Business, Tucker, Eric, Kalisto, with the announcers actually saying, oh man, it doesn't seem like the rest of the of Lucha House Party likes Kalisto. Yeah, well, few do.
I'm going to say that the moment where I think I sent you a text that said, are we reading into backstage shenanigans targeting Cedric and Sheldon like that? And it wasn't that they went out when they did. It's that at the certain moment, the entire rest of the field inside the ring turned on them. Right. And it was almost metaphorical in the sense that they were getting kicked out of the locker room, or they were getting pushed out by the rest of the roster. And I maybe, listen, it is entirely possible that I'm reading into this too much. You guys know I have a proclivity to do that kind of stuff. But I'm looking at this going, what am I supposed to read into that as? What are they implying here by doing that? They're not telling us that they're these big, strong dudes like Braun Strowman or Big Show where they have to just muscle up the entire roster and just to get these guys out. No, these are little cruiserweight dudes. Shelton's not, but I mean, these aren't big dudes. Barely. This looked like a standoff where they just got pushed out. Yeah.
The only thing I could read into it was maybe they were going with you guys bullied us around for so long when you're in Hurt Business. Now you're not in Hurt Business anymore. Now you're out on your own. But by that logic, why wouldn't everyone go after Retribution, who theoretically were the terrorists of WWE, except that, WWE didn't know how to book them that way, so no one knew what the hell they were. They
didn't need to, because Mustafa Ali eliminated both of his dudes.
Yeah, he eliminated both of them. He eliminated Mace and T-Bar.
That's believable.
You were telling me, you're like, yeah, T-Bar's gonna throw out Mustafa Ali, win the whole thing, and unmask. And I was just like, okay, dude. I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Don't tickle my pickle, man. I ain't gonna happen.
That would have been magnificent, though.
You know what? There's a lot that would have been magnificent, and none of it would have been Jay Uso winning. I get why they did it. You know what I mean? He's on a roll right now. They wanted to put a little bit of respect on his name. But at the same time, like, they proved by putting it where they put it that the Andre the Giant Battle Royale means absolutely goddamn nothing except a tiny little push and a pop for someone who they want in the upper mid
and a trophy that you can't get into the backseat of your Honda Civic.
You can't even have the trophy. Yeah. You don't even keep the trophy. The trophy just sits there for the next battle royale, and they just put your name on it. That's it.
At least it was a mechanism to get some guys a WrestleMania paycheck. At least it was that previously. And at least I respected it for that previously. Now we don't even have that. Unless there's something I don't know that they actually did because they treated this. They said they were going to do it on Smackdown, so they gave them their WrestleMania bonus. I don't know whether they did or not.
Yeah, we have no idea what the money of this is, but it wouldn't surprise me if they it's WWE. They're not going to.
Well, it wasn't actually on WrestleMania, so.
Yeah, it's out of the goodness of their heart. It's like, this is not going to be in the DVD. This is not going to be on the replays. You're not getting the extra money. You're on SmackDown. Sorry, kids. The list of guys we just named off, like, you're talking about some of the most talented wrestlers in the world, and they're just the job squad now. So let's catch up before we move on here, Nick, because we gotta keep rocking through.
Let's see. Going all the way back to the beginning. Kyle threw in 100 bits, said day 4 of the Mania Week Marathon. The BWO crew is beginning to wonder what the sun looks like.
Do I look like I've ever seen the sun before to you guys?
No.
I'm translucent. Come on.
We have the phenomenon happening in North Carolina right now called pollenocalypse. Where about 5 days, all of the pollen from all of the flowering sheds, and we get that yellow haze. And fun fact, it actually the peak of it coincides with WrestleMania on April 11th in 2 days. So I literally took a power washer to my deck last weekend to get all of the winter goo off of it that was left over. And then, of course, pollen kicks in, and everything outside is yellow. My black shoes are yellow. The grass is yellow. The deck is yellow. The cover on the grill is yellow. The hood of the car is yellow. Everything's yellow.
So it's a Coldplay
It's
song.
disgusting. And it was all yellow.
I didn't need you to sing it.
That was about what I think about it. Anyway, thank you, Kyle. Kyle also gifted 2 Tier 1 subs.
Ooh.
Thank you very much, sir, to Gundam Gabero and Jay Drizzle. I like that name. Jay Drizzle.
Nice.
Jay Drizzle 316. Oh, hell yeah. Make sure you thank Kyle Cotton for your gift subs. Thank you again, Kyle, for that. Kyle threw in another 100 bits. Said it reminded me of the dark times when SmackDown, after the first brand split ended, and SmackDown was nothing but a Raw recap show, with the worst being the Mania Week SmackDown. Side note, chills from Edge. Yeah. That's the man who became a legend feuding with Cena. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Crazy Eyes, Rated R Superstar is back.
Crazy Eyes. Like they had a handheld cam getting a super tight close up of him, and he was staring at the hard cam, so he looked like he had Shawn Michaels. Not even Shawn Michaels' eye, because he was wall-eyed. He was going outside with his eyeballs. So it was a weird look for him.
Another 100 bits from Kyle said, "I hear Sasha promos and fake laugh in my nightmares."
Yep. Me too. My ears are still ringing.
And finally, another 100 bits from Kyle. Thank you so much for all the bits.
It's a clown laugh. That's how clowns laugh.
This is a Woody Woodpecker.
That's a little more high. Dude, thank God she's not that high pitched. She gets like a little more guttural than like, you know.
I didn't need you to do it, but okay.
I didn't need to do it either. It just happened.
And finally, Catherine, another 100 bits, said the women's tag team division presentation I hate so much that I'm actually wishing the Bellas to get inserted in the tag team turmoil and win the titles just because it's better than any of these options based on how they were booked. Also, whatever weight Tucky lost, Eric found.
I don't really.
I mean, he got married. Like they've been off being married.
He gained 8 pounds.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey. I don't. Hey.
Thank you, Kyle, for all the love, man. Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you,
okay, what else do we got to talk about on Smack? We got to talk about that Fatal 4-Way match.
The pre-show part 2, the pre-show part 2. SmackDown tag team titles on the line, Fatal 4-Way match. You had Alpha Academy Street Profits, the Mysterios, versus the Dirty Dogs.
I actually thought we were going to pay some stuff off here. I actually thought we were going to give somebody a little bit of a push. I thought we were going to let Rude and Ziggler be the veterans that were going to carry somebody and push somebody into the next championship.
Not yet, buddy.
Nope.
This match was as irrelevant as it was pointless. It existed simply to have some bodies flying around. The same thing we've seen on SmackDown from all these teams for the last month and a half. And all that happened was at the end, Chad Gable ate the pin. Montez Ford gave him the splash. He got super kicked and tossed out of the ring. 1, 2, 3. Gable eats the pin, and Rude and Ziggler retain. Yay. I got nothing more to say about this. That's it.
What a wasted time and wasted effort and wasted possibilities.
I mean, you could say that they needed a statement win to show that they were actually like not just thrown together and thrown in their champs, but honestly, there has been the most exciting thing that's happening in the SmackDown tag division is the fact that you have these 4 teams and they started to have interesting dynamics between them. Really, none of that was shown in this match.
Nope.
So
what are we supposed to think about all this Alpha Academy training that's been going on with Otis? What are we supposed to think about the street?
He's gone heel,
how the hell are the Street Profits not on WrestleMania?
Isn't that insane?
That's absolutely insane to me.
We got 2 major matches where all these guys, everyone in the armbar, everyone in this Fatal 4-Way, how do you not have any of them on WrestleMania? Madness. The next match, two ladies that will be on WrestleMania, Tamina versus Nia Jax, in the match that Nick dreamt up in his dreams and thought, you know what, the best thing that could ever happen to me in my life would be a go-home show of WrestleMania with Tamina facing off against Nia Jax. Yes, please. Nick, it's okay to admit it now that you called up WWE Brass and suggested this match to them specifically because you knew you're giving me the sergeant there.
Look into my eye.
I know it's I'm sorry. Okay, Nick. In all honesty, like, what did you think of this match? Tamina and Nia, two big girls having a big girl hoss fight before. This is the thing. This is the go-home match for the tag team champions, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, and they go home with a singles match for one of the tag teams, one of the several tag teams in the night one tag team turmoil match. What does that say to you?
I'm gonna dig into my senior management training playbook. And I'm going to say something nice first.
Okay.
Tamina looks fantastic. New gear. She's working well. I like the way she worked in the ring tonight.
That
might be the best I've ever seen Tamina wrestle.
And present herself.
Her overall presence. Yeah, that's a great way to say it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
However, if you had told me that one of the matches that I never wanted to see, like, of all of the people that we could have booked a match with, the two people were Tamina versus Nia Jax on the go-home show the night before, 24 hours before Smackdown. 24 hours before WrestleMania. This is the match you're going to have. And you're going to chump out some of the best wrestlers in the world in an armbar. Then you're going to have a fatal four-way that's basically going to be completely meaningless. And then this is the other match you're going to have? I would have just looked at you and laughed and went, okay, and just walked away. If this is what you're going to do to build to WrestleMania, you're just not even trying at this point. You're actually actively not caring.
It was actually wonderful during the opening of this match, Nick, to hear this faraway sound like popcorn in a microwave and to know it was your vessels in your brain popping one by one as this was going on. That being said, so the match ultimately ends with a DQ finish, because of course it does. Everyone gets involved. It looks like
Shayna ran
at one point
DQ'd
Tamina picked up Nia and slammed her, and then Nia got Tamina and Nia was getting pinned. Thank you. After
Tamina Samoa dropped Nia. That was impressive.
Which was impressive. And then Shayna ran in to break it up and caused a DQ, and then there's a big scuffle.
Comes in.
And then we cut to backstage, and Riot Squad's being interviewed. Billy Kay rolls up and goes, "Hey, I'm in it too." And they go, "You don't have a partner." And of course, then Carmella rolls up as they accidentally telegraphed on Monday when they showed the graphic with the two of them actually being in the match. So nice play, guys. And they said, "Well, actually, no, we are in the match." And then every other team that's in it shows up. Naomi and Lonnie show up and goes, "What about us?" Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke show up and go, "What about us?" And Natalya and Tamina come in after everyone breaks down and starts fighting. Natalya and Tamina come in and clean house and say, "Ha, you all suck," and leave. So you have two segments where Natalya and Tamina are shown to be the top of all of these ladies. Some of them former champions. Are they making Natty and Tamina look dominant to swerve us all, Nick, or are they just trying to build this up so Natty and Tamina look like the only possible options to win the tag team turmoil?
I think they're making them look like the ones that are going to win the turmoil match and ultimately will end up losing to Baszler and Jax. And just like the Fatal 4-Way tonight, all of this will be absolutely, completely meaningless.
Well, let's rock through the rest of SmackDown here. Let's get to our picks, because it sounds like we're already turning. We just want to get our picks. With this SmackDown, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you could tell, we weren't big fans of this SmackDown this week, but being positive guys, we both still think WrestleMania will be good. So let's rock through the rest of SmackDown.
There was one thing in this SmackDown that I absolutely adored.
Was that Big E's promo on Apollo Crews, where he was getting his lines done in the barbershop and then giving us a tour?
That was all right.
Giving us a tour
I like that.
of his home city. No, was it?
He didn't go to enough retirement homes though in Tampa. That's mostly what Tampa is.
He went to everywhere else but the retirement homes.
Right.
He went to the Raymond James Stadium. He went to his high school, and he went to his barbershop. Then that's it.
It's not that big of a city.
Sami Zayn went to see Logan Paul and his brother Jake sparring in a gym. some awkwardness ensued, and Sami went, "Hey, I'll go spar with you guys. Let me get my gear." Goes outside, door closes behind him, gets locked out. The security guard opens the door and is like, "Nah, we're closed, man." And we cut to Sami now in the Thunderdome, and he's trying to explain what really happened to Graves and Cole, and then just gets stunnered to hell by Kevin Owens. So
as the Goon Squad's coming out for the armbar, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are scuffling. I'm like, don't show me the Goon Squad coming out the ramp. I want to see those guys.
We can't even let them come out and have people have their attention on them. We have to be distracted by Sami and Kevin Owens. No love.
Wow.
No love. Ricochet looking right in the camera being like, "Yeah, it's me. It's Ricochet." Cut to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Oh, my God. Brutal. Well, Nick, that was SmackDown. That really was SmackDown. We saw a Fiend video segment. We saw a bunch of video segments, Drew and Lashley. It was the pre-show of WrestleMania. Hard stop. That's all it was. Which means, Nick, let's actually do what they want us to do and not really think about SmackDown and think about the big show coming up over the next 2 nights. And that big show, of course, is WrestleMania.
Well, I got to do a couple of call-outs before we go to the Pick'ems real quick. Kyle snuck a couple in on me.
Okay.
For the 100 bits, said to put how much WWE hates tag team wrestling into perspective, this was Rude and Ziggler's first defense since they won the title 3 months ago.
First official defense.
Damn this freaking tag team, and damn how these titles are treated. At least give me the Mysterios. I would take Gable and Otis. I would take the Street Profits. I would take any of them. I don't really mind the Dirty Dogs at this point.
Exactly. I'll take any of them. Just give me a story.
Tell me exactly. Tell me a story.
Not just.
Why are they warring with each other?
And then they have a match. And then they have a match. Why? Who are these people? Why do I care?
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Boys have a penis. Girls have a vagina. Thank you, Billy. That was very educational. So it's all right. Let's
one more real quick. Thank you, Kyle. Throwing another 100 bits. Said Nia versus Tamina when you order Rhea versus Raquel from Wish. Yeah.
I don't even think Wish is that bad. Anyway, moving on to night 1 of WrestleMania. Let's give our pick'ems, Nick. It's that time. I am so terrified. I am damp. I am moist in my armpits for this right now. Oh boy. Not Nick. By the way, we also should say not only are we competing with each and every one of our phenomenal patrons on this show, we are also competing with the Going in Raw program as well. So they've already given theirs. They gave theirs earlier today. I have not listened to it. I do not want to be biased or shook. So we're going into this blind, and then I'm going to find theirs out after this. I'm gonna hit them up and be like, okay, give me the official numbers, and we'll add them in so we all y'all patrons can play against them as well. Match number 1, let's just get out of the way. The tag team turmoil match for the number 1 contendership, Natalya and Tamina versus Lana and Naomi versus Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke versus the Riot Squad versus Billy and Carmella. Shockingly, only one team here actually has a team name, an official team name. I know Lana and Naomi have gone through a couple different names. And we always call Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke the Sexy Muscle Friends. But
thank you, Oscar.
Who do you think is winning this thing?
I'm going based on what they've been telling me. And what they've been telling me is that Natty and Tamina are going to win this. So I'm going to pick Natty and Tamina.
I would take the flyer too. The people who have current story with Shayna and Nia, the only people are Natalya and Tamina. Yes, you could argue Naomi and Lana, but they kind of finished that storyline. Yep. Could you restart it really quickly? Yes. Then why didn't you up until this point? Everyone else has faced Shayna and Nia and lost.
They didn't want to do that so bad. They've shoved Natty and Tamina together in a tag team and said, yeah, let's do this instead.
Shove it down her throat. And they've actually been getting some momentum going online and everything by saying that, we've been around forever. Let's get some respect, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the odd team out here is Billy and Carmella. How much in stock are they going to put in them? Is Billy there to eat the pin for Carmella? What's up with that? I would have said last week Billy and Carmella to win this because they're the most new, interesting, fresh team. But after everything they've done with Natalya and Tamina this week, I can't see it being anyone else but that. Other tag team action, Omos and AJ Styles versus the New Day. What you got going on here?
Again, the story that they're telling me, AJ and Omos.
I have to agree. I don't think that it would do anybody any good if AJ and Omos lost, unless Omos turns on AJ and goes solo and becomes a new major force. I don't think the story's at that point yet, by a long shot. I think that would be way too premature to split up AJ and Omos. So I've got to assume they're going to win. Give another notch in AJ's belt. Put Omos over big time. New Day will be fine. It's New Day.
They've been 11. They're 11-time champions at this point. They're going to be fine.
And with the amount AJ's laid down for them leading up to this, there's no way he loses this. I don't think. Seth Rollins versus Cesaro in a will Seth Rollins get swung 100 times match. Who's winning this one, Nick?
Seth Rollins.
Oh, Nick going on the flyer. Why? So Cesaro is the easy win for me. Why do you think that Seth's taking this?
One, because it's the flyer that I'm going to take. Two, they're continuing to push his thing. We saw tonight he's got a brand new political style commercial. He's got his own Seth Rollins super PAC going at this point. And I thought the political commercial was absolutely brilliant. I thought it was so. This advertisement is not endorsed or paid for by Seth Rollins or something. So I don't remember what it was. I think they've been telling this story. Cesaro is a good foil for him, but I think they want this new character for Seth to get even bigger. So I'm going to go with Seth here. It's a bit of a flyer. Cesaro if you read what's on the page, Cesaro looks like the clear winner here.
Put him over, make him a star in front of people. Like, this is the time to do it.
Well, there's been plenty of times that they could have done that with Cesaro, and they haven't. I don't think they're going to start now.
Well, but this is the biggest chance they've had since he won the armbar to do it. So
you're going
do
Cesaro?
Or die. Do or die. I'm going Cesaro. Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon in a cage match. Who do you have winning this one, sir?
Braun Strowman.
You do have Braun Strowman winning this. Well, all right. This is one I'm tempted to take a flyer on. I'm not going to lie. And the reason being, I think this feud goes on for longer. I don't think that they're done with this feud. I think that there's going to be more to it. I think that the fact that, Braun chose a cage match, it seems like there's no way Shane's going to win here. I think Shane outsmarts him. Braun stays looking strong, and Shane picks up the victory here. But it's a Pyrrhic victory, and I think this feud goes on after WrestleMania. I'm going to take Shane on this one.
I'm tempted to change to Shane only with the idea in my head that Braun probably is not that good at climbing the cage, and Shane could get away from him, and he could carry on the story of, boy, you were stupid. You didn't know how to climb a cage. I'm more agile and nimble than you, and maybe it's a really quick match, and Shane just scurries out.
Well, this is what I don't think they'll make it a quick match when they bring down a whole cage. But at the same time, I feel like Shane will be able to win. Shane could theoretically win this match. I want to make it very clear. I'm not confident in this pick. Yeah. I'm just doing it because I got to pick some flyers. There's a way that Shane could do this. Keep Braun looking like he didn't make any mistakes. He wasn't being stupid. Shane's just a dick.
Yeah.
And he won this because Riker and Elias helped him. Or he won this because, he just happened. He got lucky or something like that. There's ways that you can have Shane win this that protects Braun. I think that's what they'll do and have this go on for longer because this is the worst feud in wrestling right now, which means WWE will run it into the ground. So, Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. You know what? It's going to cost me stickers and it will cost me points and it might even cost us, I don't know, whatever Steven Larson make us do for losing. But I'm going to go for it. Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus Miz and Morrison. Who you have in this one?
50-50. I gotta pick Bunny Priest though.
All right. Yeah, I don't think it's 50-50 at all. This is one of the ones I'm putting more points on. This one to me seems very clear cut. There's no way you bring in Bad Bunny and have him lose. And Damian Priest is undefeated.
Damian Priest needs the win.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Who does he pin, Morrison or Miz?
Morrison.
Or does Bunny get the pin?
I think Bunny might get the pin on Miz.
I think that's probably pretty likely too. quite possible. Apparently, he's earned a lot of respect with his work. So he's been training with Gulak and Pierce. So we may be surprised by Bad Bunny come WrestleMania, ladies and gentlemen. Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. They will be pulling the curtain, Nick. Pulling the curtain on night one of WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre's theme will be the first thing you hear playing come WrestleMania. I'm taking Drew to win this. He's a Scot.
I'm gonna challenge that.
Go for it.
I'm willing to bet Hulk Hogan's music is the first thing you hear playing at WrestleMania on night one.
Oh, God. Okay.
And I'm right.
I'm not taking...
We've got to get past the brothering at the top of WrestleMania. And yeah, then we'll hear Drew's music.
Let's do a +1. Just you and me. We'll keep this out of the pick'ems.
Okay.
You and me. I say Drew's music +1.
I say Hogan.
And you say Hogan. All right. All right.
Who you got, Drew or Bobby?
Sick bastard. Drew, I told you. I got to pick my Scot. Yeah. He's going to get coronated. This is he deserves it after the year he's had, being the face of WWE in one of the hardest times they've ever gone through. He deserves that WrestleMania coronation, the one he was deserved last year. Now, do you think he's going to get it, or do you think they put over Lashley and create a new star? A new old star?
No, it's true.
It's true. Okay. And finally, Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belaire. They will be closing night one, the proper main event. This is for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Who do you have in this?
It's got to be.
Do
It's
they
got to be
close
Bianca.
with? You think so?
Yeah. It's got to be. What are you doing if you don't put her over?
I agree. This might be one where I go all in.
I'm thinking about it.
I might put a lot of points on this, just so that if WWE does not put her over, I'm extra salty and extra pissed, and I can come into the post show that we do and just really just like spit some fire. Maybe use up all my F-bombs for 2021 in one go.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. I too am saying Bianca Belaire. Night two. Let's say the U.S. title match: Riddle versus Sheamus. Who do you have here?
I am very torn on this one.
This is a tough one.
It would be very easy to say Riddle retains, but when you look at the work that Sheamus has done against Drew, and basically the work that he's done from last summer with Jeff Hardy and like all through over the course of the last 9 months, it is very hard not to say Sheamus. It is very hard to not say Sheamus here, but I think Riddle retains. I don't think they're ready to. Because I don't want to say he becomes irrelevant, but he looks really good with that United States Championship.
Do they open night two with a 16-second Sheamus victory over Riddle?
No. No.
So Brian Alvarez earlier today said that he had heard from someone backstage in WWE Creative that it's looking like one of the matches in WrestleMania will be, quote, short and disappointing. And I'm wondering if this is that match. Who's getting the squash? Someone's getting squashed.
Braun and Shane.
You think that's the squash?
I'm looking down the card right now.
I think it might be Fiend and Randy.
Might be Fiend and Randy.
Might be Fiend
that
and
would
Randy.
Be extremely disappointing.
Might be Asuka and Rhea.
It would be the ultimate point at the end of this whole dragged out.
It might be Drew and Lashley. We might open WrestleMania with Drew coming out and just Claymoring the crap out of Lashley and wins just straight up. I got to tell you right now, I personally will be furious if they do that to Lashley. Yeah. And I know a lot of people that will be furious if they do that to Lashley.
It would be like Kofi a couple years ago.
Yeah, it would be on that level. Just massively disrespectful. Massively disrespectful. A lot of people are very much behind Lashley. A lot of people were behind the Hurt Business. Breaking up the Hurt Business has pissed off enough people. If they goon out Lashley like that at the top of night one, you are going to have a WrestleMania crowd that's going to be very, very hostile for the rest of the weekend. So I hope that's not what it is. I hope we get a nice big 10-minute hostile.
I'm going to stick with my gut. My gut says Riddle retains.
Okay. I will take another minor flyer here and say Sheamus gets it. I think they're very high on Riddle. But at the same time, I think Sheamus has done some great work over the last year. He's lost a lot of matches. I wonder if they're going to put over Riddle at his expense. Something's I don't know, man.
That's what's
There's
going
not
on in
enough.
my head, but I'm trusting my gut.
Yeah.
I don't think he's as special without that title. He is. We know he is, but I think having it strapped across him while he's riding his scooter around is a big deal. Sheamus will be fine.
Whereas I think there's more stories for Sheamus if he's the champ. But this is a really tough one for me. I'm very unconfident on that, but I'll stick with Sheamus for now.
Yeah, that one's not getting a lot of points.
No. There's a few of these that I really don't want to get a lot of points. There's a few of these I'm very uncertain about. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus the winners of Night 1 Tag Team Turmoil, which you and I both said were Natalya and Tamina. Do the titles change hands, Nick? Or do Nia and Shayna retain and make your life a living hell for even longer?
I want them to change, but they're not going to. Jax and Baszler retain.
Wow. Man, I wish I could agree with you. I'm actually going to do what we made fun of people for doing in NXT, where they picked Dexter Lumis. 53%, I believe, of our field picked Dexter Lumis to win that gauntlet match. And then they were just SOL on night 2. And if Natty and Tamina both lose, we're SOL on night 2. You could still pull it off, but I might go all in here and say Natty and Tamina are going to win this one.
Are you locking that in as your final answer?
Yes, I am. Natty and Tamina. I'm going all out, man.
Good man. I hear you.
And rest in peace, but I'm going ride or die. Ride or die.
I did my go all out for NXT, and that didn't work out so well for me.
You only had one big stumble there. I'm probably going to stumble like crazy at WrestleMania because I always do. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Is there any way Sami picks up the win here?
KO.
Wow. KO wins, huh?
I mean, unless Logan Paul gets involved somehow, and
unless Logan Paul gets involved,
I think he does get involved,
Kevin Owens.
But he's just going to eat a crash off the ship from Kevin Owens or some kind of high spot from Kevin Owens.
Sami Zayn wins.
What?
I'm going for Sami Zayn.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Kevin Owens has gotten the stunner on him week in and week out.
I guess I'm carrying the load for Steven Larson.
You're carrying the load,
Jesus Christ.
This is always the case, man. I'm going flyer after flyer on this WrestleMania. It's going to be a madhouse. Sami Zayn, I think, with the help of Logan Paul, picks up the win here. This is not what I'm confident on. Look, Kevin Owens looks like he should win this.
Agreed.
Right? There's no way that he beats Sami Zayn. Except, what if he does? What if Sami Zayn does pull this out?
To what
like
end?
With Logan Paul's help, then Sami gets more to. I mean, either way, Sami's going to have something to do, right? He can either bitch and complain that he was taken at WrestleMania, or he can say, "Look, I won at WrestleMania. It's proof that there's merit to this because Logan Paul was helping me out."
No, I think it feeds into the conspiracy theory thing more if he loses, and that's why I'm going this way. He has more to complain about if he loses.
If you convince me to vote Kevin Owens here, to take Kevin Owens here, and it's Sami Zayn, Nick.
I'm not trying to convince you.
I will never forgive you. I will never forgive you.
You're already like you're usually I'm usually in the position you're in right now. You're taking some flyers.
Yeah, I'm going. I am flying.
We're not quite
deep
in
and
the
hard
territory of Brock Lesnar running the gauntlet at Royal Rumble that you put all of your points in.
Yeah,
we're not that bad, but you're taking some shots here. So I'm trying to be a little conservative. One of us has to do well.
Yeah. Let me look down this. Let's see. Yeah, I can't take all the heels to another. You know what? Let's see.
The other thing I could argue in your favor is that we've got this, the Peacock is doing the documentary thing, and there's going to need to be a button on it that's the ultimate redemption and proof of Sami and the conspiracy, and him overcoming Kevin Owens at WrestleMania might be the ultimate just kind of button for the end of his
I'm
whole
looking down this card on this night, and we've got Big E versus Apollo Crews, Fiend versus Randy Orton, Oscar versus Rhea Ripley, and Roman, Edge, and Daniel Bryan. And I was going down the path to have the heels win every single match here. And I've got to change some of my picks.
Well, let's do all of our picks, and then let's do a second pass, because I'm all right. Let's do an edit pass if we can. Let's get our first.
Sure.
I want to get
Big
my
E
gut
versus
feelings
Apollo,
out there.
No problem. Big E versus Apollo Crews in a Nigerian drum match, which, oh boy. Apparently Big E doesn't even know what the hell that is. What do you think? What do you think's happening here? Is Big E and Apollo Crews the Intercontinental Championship on the line? Who's winning it?
I look at this and I go, Apollo Crews has had at least 2, if not 3 opportunities at Big E in his Intercontinental title. He hasn't been able to come through. He became something else in the middle of this whole thing with this new Nigerian gimmick, and the gimmick of the match is sort of his thing. That obviously favors him for certain reasons, and I'm wondering if they're giving him that so that it's okay when Big E retains. Mm-hmm. That's where my sort of gut feeling logic is going.
This is also one of those feuds where, you know, it's very Macho and Steamboat, where you've got, you know, he tried to end Big E's career, and then now Big E's coming back, and he's like, but here's the other thing, though. Big E's in his hometown, and hometown matches tend to go towards the non-hometown guy to get heat, typically. But those are typically in builds, not in blow-offs. So what do you think happens here in the blow-off?
I'm going Big E.
Are you going Big E?
There's part of me that wants to pick Apollo just for the things that I said, because he hasn't been able to get it done.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to get it done here either.
I think it should be Apollo. If Apollo doesn't win this, they're going to have to do a lot to build him back up.
I agree with that.
Like, you know what I mean? Like if they're really all in with Apollo and his new gimmick, they'll let him win here. Big E will be fine. Big E can go do something else. But it's WrestleMania. I don't see Apollo winning this because I just don't trust WWE. But it should be Apollo.
Are you going to pick Big E?
I'm going
to pick Apollo here for coverage.
Okay.
For
coverage.
Well, I'm looking at this doing some strategery here.
Both of us covering, we're going to both lose out.
No, I mean
taking all these flyers.
Well, I mean, as long as one of us picks it and has some points on it, you know. I'm thinking about the match between Steve and Larson. That's part of this for me as well.
Bloodbath. Fiend versus Randy Orton. Is there any doubt the Fiend is winning this?
No. Fiend.
Okay. Asuka versus Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's Championship. Do they strap 2 stars in 2 nights and Rhea Ripley beats Asuka? I agree. This one seems like pretty clear cut. This is not like Apollo and Big E where, like I say, they have to do this for Apollo or he's toast. They 100% have to do this for Rhea. You have to strap her here. You have to. You have to give her this. After losing at WrestleMania last year, you need to let her beat Asuka. Squash her even. I don't care if this is the squash match. Rhea must win. The same way as Bianca must win. Full stop. Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan for the Universal Championship match. Probably the toughest one to pick for me out of any of these. What is your pick for this, Nick? I imagine it's not any easier for you.
It's not any easier for me, and I'm wondering if we're at the point yet where it's okay for Roman to lose yet. And then I remember, no, we made this a triple threat for a reason, and it wasn't to get Daniel Bryan into the match. It was to open up the possibility of no DQ in triple threat rules. So we're going to have Jay Uso be a part of this. That really stacks the deck in Roman's favor.
Right.
And again, I don't think it's time for him to lose it yet. I think he should hold it for a indefinite period of time. Like, I want to see like a 2-year reign here. I want to see big time stuff. I want to see this evolve into different levels of gimmick of what he's doing right now. And he even said tonight in his promo, if you guys think what I'm doing so far is bad, you ain't seen nothing yet. And I think there's more coming post WrestleMania, and we're going to start to see some whatever that new, maybe Jimmy comes back.
He said the worst. So basically, kind of like he's saying the worst is yet to come. Yeah. You're saying, ripping a line from Jericho there. So who do you think Roman's taking this?
I think I will say it this way: Roman Reigns leaves WrestleMania Sunday night as the Universal Champion.
Right. Yes, that's what we're picking for. Not win or lose, just who leaves with the belt. Yes. I'm saying Edge. I'm saying Edge pins
My
Daniel
heart
Bryan.
wants that so much.
I think a lot of people do. And I think if you're thinking about go-home images for WrestleMania, we've seen Daniel Bryan do it. I don't think people are, like you said, 100% behind Daniel Bryan. I think Daniel Bryan is there to let Roman Reigns not be pinned. We've seen how much animosity Edge has towards Daniel Bryan in particular. You can have Roman bitch afterwards that he was never pinned. The best outcome for this is Edge winning. He has not gone, I would argue, full heel. He's still a tweener. He's bitching about the fans, but he's still relatable. Right? Yeah. They're trying to make him a full heel, but he's just really not. And if he's standing tall at the end of WrestleMania, people won't boo. If Roman Reigns stands tall, people will be like, all right, he was champ before. If Daniel Bryan wins, they'll go, he kind of, wormed his way into the match. It really wasn't supposed to be his match in the first place. It feels weird. It doesn't feel as good as 30. They won't feel as good about it. Edge wins, people will be like, dude, yeah, that's really cool.
It was arguably the biggest pop in WWE history with Edge coming back at Royal Rumble. Even though it wasn't that big of a surprise. We kind of knew it was coming.
For a lot of people, it was. And I think that Edge winning here, even though, he has been a bit of a heel, would still be the most satisfying end to WrestleMania. And I think it gives you a lot of stories coming out of this as well.
Let me counter you with one thing, though.
Sure.
How many times did we pick someone not beating Brock Lesnar, and we end up going off air with Brock Lesnar standing tall?
And of course, WWE is not always going to do the thing that's most satisfying to the audience. They're not going to do the thing that might be best for story, because Edge, I think, has the best stories coming out of WrestleMania as champ. I think it's also a great story for him as a performer, 10 years to the day, to get the title back that he never really lost.
I think Roman retains.
That's an incredible.
And we have Edge and Daniel Bryan go into a program that leads us to SummerSlam.
I'll put it this way. It's the first WrestleMania back after the pandemic. They might have the mentality of, we'll give them a happy ending night 1 with Bianca Belair winning, and then we can do whatever we want night 2. But I feel like they're going to want to go for a satisfying finish all around.
Every single SmackDown has ended with Roman Reigns that I can remember in the last 3 to 6 months.
That's an argument against having him close WrestleMania.
I agree. That's exactly why we're going to see him close WrestleMania and the full anointment of this character. And he's going to be standing there with Paul Heyman. We might get a surprise return of Jimmy. I don't know. I don't know where this goes. There's going to be some interesting shenaniganry. I think we could see Jimmy come back. I think we could see Jay is definitely going to be involved in some way. That throws a wrench into this. So I think we go out night 2. Like you said, we're going to get our feel goods on the end of night 1 with Bianca getting her title. But at the end of night 2, it's what Vince wants. He wants Roman Reigns standing there holding that title up as they go off there. It's what he's wanted for 7 years.
And you like him now, don't you?
And I absolutely love what he's doing right now.
Well, I do too, but at the same time, that's just Vince back there just, filleting himself, watching everyone, be happy that Roman Reigns is closing WrestleMania. That's very possible, but I'm still taking
We
Edge.
get the Vicious Edge Daniel Bryan series after this, and Edge is going to be super pissed that Daniel Bryan screwed him out of the opportunity. It's going to be all Daniel Bryan's fault. I can't wait for that build. That's where my head's going.
Quite possible as well. Let's do a conscience check here on night 2. You're still good with Riddle and Sheamus?
No, not Riddle really.
And,
at least one of us is picking each. So.
Oh God. Natty and Tamina, I'm good with. You're good with Jackson, Shayna taking it.
Yep.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I couldn't do it to myself. I picked Kevin Owens again, but I swear to God.
Oh, you changed from Sami to KO.
I went to KO.
Okay.
I'm sticking with Big E. If you're going to stick with Apollo, Fiend, Rhea, and I'm taking Edge. You're taking Roman. All right.
I'm looking back over night 1 just to make sure I'm not crazy here.
Why am I taking Shane? What's wrong with me? I'm doing it though. The hell with it. Finally, Becky rumors.
I mean,
Becky rumors.
An Instagram post of her butt. Like, what's the Becky rumor?
But next to that Instagram, she put a whole bunch of words, and the first letters all spelled out night 1.
Okay. Where's my tinfoil hat?
There's been a rumor. Get your tinfoil hat on. There's also was a rumor that she was supposed to be on a Ding Dong Hello segment with Bayley, but it was scrapped. That doesn't mean that Becky's appearance at WrestleMania is scrapped. It just means that Ding Dong Hello was scrapped, or that they're trying to swerve us, and we really do have a Ding Dong Hello segment where Becky comes running back in her gigantic Mack truck. whatever she's driving these
What
days.
if Becky comes back and helps Seth beat Cesaro
Mama
and
Mobile.
he's like full heel?
God, Becky comes back heel. Do you do that to the audience after a pandemic, though, Dan? Do you do that?
Yes, you do. That's exactly when you do that.
You know what you do? You have her come back, get the face pop, and then turn.
Yep. You get the best of both worlds.
That would be pretty awesome. Not gonna lie. That'd be pretty awesome.
Ooh.
But you're also a sadistic bastard for saying it.
I am locked in. I am good with my picks.
I'm not good with my picks in any
That
way,
Sheamus
shape, or
and
form.
Riddle one is messing with me though.
Well, Kevin Owens and Sami's messing with me, so it's okay. And Biggie and Apollo and Shane and Braun. And God, we got to move on, Nick,
Kyle's
because
thrown a ton of bits in here. Let me catch up before we jump to AEW. All right. Good Lord. Okay, so Kyle throwing 100 bits said Mandy and Dana have started calling themselves sexy muscle friends on social media, FYI. Good. They should.
They should.
Drew and Lashley is getting the squash. Opening match back.
Yep. That's what I was saying. Is like
I got it.
Had like
okay.
16-second Claymore squash on Lashley.
Yeah, I mean the Brock match was less than 5 minutes if I remember right.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, that was in an empty PC, but whatever.
It's gonna be bad.
Another 100 bits. Big E is a contender for Money in the Bank in the next few months. Apollo wins, so E can go get the briefcase.
Next month. They're
actually going to do that one before Backlash. It's going to be in May. I also, for those of you in Discord, I did add a new channel that says pay-per-view schedule, and I'm going to keep a running sort of living list of all of the shows as they're announced throughout the year. So
that's a really good reason why Big E could lose at WrestleMania.
And it's another +1 on top of why I kind of want to pick Apollo here. Keep Big E, man.
I want to go back.
Keep Big E because we need that spread in case he pulls it off. Because if both of us lose, we lose everything.
I'm gonna put one. No, it's not cumulative. It's individual. It's which individual wins.
But if we both pick the wrong thing, is what I'm saying. We both lose all the points.
Only if they pick the same thing. Fine, I'll stay on Big E. But if Apollo wins,
if you're gonna pick Apollo, I'm gonna pick Big E.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not going to be selfish, you bastard.
I'm picking Apollo because you went to Big E.
I'm picking Big E because you went to Apollo.
Kyle said there is a picture of Raquel, Bianca, and Rhea backstage. Looking like stars, and I want to see that picture replicated with them holding all the gold Sunday night.
Rhea and Raquel used to be roommates, as I recall. Good buds.
Thank you very much for all the bits, Kyle.
Three powerful ladies.
Well, there you have it, folks. Locked in.
Oh, I'm not comfortable.
Looking forward to seeing all of your picks and your submissions over the next 24 hours as we get to it. Reminder, you have until, for those of you participating in BWO Patron Pick'ems, it is cumulative with your picks from NXT this year. So if you picked for NXT, make sure that you also pick for WrestleMania. If you didn't pick for NXT, you're welcome to play along, but it's highly unlikely that you're going to be competitive because you missed the other 55 points of potential that was from NXT. So just a heads up for everybody. We had, I think, 50 plus people playing for NXT. Make sure all of you go do the pick'ems for WrestleMania as well to stay in contention.
I'm so uncomfortable. It's like I have erect nipples in a sandpaper shirt.
Oh.
It's just so bad. We got to move on, Nick. Let's go talk about the other wrestling show that happened this week, and that, of course, would be AEW Dynamite.
Deep breath.
Deep breaths,
Deep
baby.
breaths.
Let's come back down to earth. This was just a regular old wrestling show. It was solid show.
Oh no, wait, we can't deep breaths yet because we had a 6-man tag match to close out AEW Dynamite that just absolutely wrenched on my heart.
Wrenched on your heart
in multiple ways. You break down the match because I'm not capable of this.
Yeah, Young Bucks and Jon Moxley versus the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega. And Don Callis is deep inside the mind of Matt Jackson. He just cannot pull the trigger on Kenny Omega. Had the chance to kill him a couple of times, and he just could not do it. Ultimately, Moxley got sick of this and came inside and just started destroying Kenny Omega. Just paradigm shift after paradigm shift, tried to choke him out, went for another paradigm shift, and ate a super kick from Matt Jackson. In came the Good Brothers, They're all, encouraging Matt, encouraging Nick, and sure enough, Moxley eats a double super kick party on Moxley. He's knocked out, and we close the show with the Young Bucks embracing Kenny Omega, and the no too sweet, just full-on hugs. Don Callis included. The Bucks appear to have gone to the dark side, but I gotta say, Nick, have they been just too back and forth? Will they or won't they? Wishy-washy in terms of this? Like, this wasn't a hard break heel turn. This was like an all right, I guess, fine kind of heel turn. Did this work well for you psychologically? You said it pulled in your heartstrings. Did this emotionally, it worked for you?
I feel like there's been a little bit of back and forth of people accepting the breakup of the Elite, of Bullet Club in general. I think there's people that thought what was going to happen with AEW was Bullet Club 2.0 when we were going to get Kenny and the Bucks and the Good Brothers eventually back together. And here we have this opportunity to do it. And Kenny has tried to embrace the Bucks, but they've been unwilling to come to the dark side. And what this was finally the Bucks just going, fine.
We're really bad guys. Fine.
We don't want to hurt our friend. We love you more than we love this kind of stuff. And I was just like, there's something cool about that, about just having your friends back no matter what. Even though we've all had those friends that just go off the deep end from time to time, and you just kind of got to ride or die with them, right? It's a friendship test, right? So I think there's this. I think Kenny. They also trying to tell the story that Kenny's losing his mind and going astray because he has lost his friends. Man, I feel like they're trying to, and I like this because God damn, it's such good storytelling here. This whole rise of Kenny Omega, the whole thing going all the way back to Hangman Page. When they were the tag team champions, and then they had to fight the Young Bucks, and then Hangman and Kenny broke up, and that, like, this whole arc over the course of 2 years now, it's just so good, and we're not even done yet. Like, what are we gonna like? Is Moxley's gonna be friggin' pissed when he wakes up?
Well, and that's 5 guys now. That's the Good Brothers. That's the Bucks and Omega now. Against him and poor hobbled Eddie Kingston, who came, limping out to the ring while Mox was getting beaten down, and he just got murdered.
The one guy who still thinks wrestling is real.
Trust me, there's more than just him. Nick Gage is still alive. But that being said, who are they going to go get for help? They need 3 more guys. I mean, Tama Tonga is trolling us all online and saying, hey, Moxley, you need some help?
Oh, man.
I don't know if you saw that or not.
Don't give me hope. Just don't do that.
That troll ass son of a bitch.
Oh, look at the chicken skin just on my arm right there.
Oh, I'm sorry, Nick.
My
God,
my whole back is literally just chili bumps right now.
You're
telling me Gorillas of Destiny are potentially going to cross over?
I'm telling you, Tama Tonga said, hey, Mox, need any help on Twitter? That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying Tama Tonga is a notorious troll who is probably trying to get us all worked up the way he's gotten you worked up.
Congratulations,
That
Tama.
would be the best option. It would be the best option. It would be the best story if they could get Gorillas of Destiny to work. I mean, Tama Tonga doing whatever he's doing aside, that would be the best story. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, I'm seeing Gallows get interviewed over on Sean Ross Sapp and saying, I haven't talked to the Gorillas of Destiny about this since they were all crapping on us using the Bullet Club thing. So, who's working who here? I don't know, man. It's beyond me at this point.
It's not like there's anything really left for Bullet Club over in Japan right now. I mean, they don't know who they leaderless. It's a rudderless ship in a way. Between Jay White and Evil and Kenta, and what are they doing? They don't have any idea.
They're not winning titles. They're back down in the mid card. Yeah, they're not doing well in New Japan. I have to agree. But that being said, if not them, then who? Who helps Moxley and Kingston?
Hangman Page.
That's one option. Where are the other 2 coming from?
Dark Order.
That's a lot of guys, and they're currently in a feud with Matt Hardy.
That's true. They're having the faction brawl thing. Whatever.
Yeah.
Is it possible
Everyone
Brian
else is
Cage
locked
gets
up.
involved with this?
No, he's about to get locked up somewhere else. We'll talk about that in a little bit. There doesn't seem to be anybody else who could possibly split away to join this. And that's what makes me wonder, like, who they have in mind. Could it be someone from Impact? Maybe have Juice, Finn Juice come over and help Mox. I don't know. All I know is a little insert here. If you like Moxley, you like his work, I hope you checked out Bloodsport last night, because sweet mother of God, Barnett versus Moxley was awesome.
No spoilers, please. I haven't got to watch that yet.
I won't spoil it. It's very surprising, and that's all I'll say. It's both undefeated in Bloodsport.
I was really looking forward to that. I didn't know it was last night. I thought it was Saturday night.
Just happened. There's blood. No spoilers, but there's blood.
Imagine that at an
on.
event called Bloodsport. People get busted wide open. Cool.
With John Moxley.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Cal through 100 bits said, what about Hangman and the Dark Order come in to help Moxley and Eddie?
Is Kyle, are you really Nick, and Nick is just typing for you there? Or
I don't know. I think we were saying it at the same time.
They're
I mean, Hangman and Dark Order you're right. They're tied up with the Hardy family thing. So, thank you, Kyle. I loved this. There were several things on Dynamite. I finally got to watch it like this afternoon after our crazy week that we've had. I haven't had a chance, and I finally got through it today, and it was half and half for me. Like, I really loved certain parts, and the other parts were kind of It was all right.
Overall, a very solid show. Another really good part was the Inner Circle returning, driving up in all their sweet rides at the top of the show. What was Chris Jericho driving? You're the car guy on the show.
Lamborghini Huracan, it looked like.
It looked like a Lamborghini, but I've never seen that style before.
It's the newer Huracan something. But it was a rental. It was like from some elite motorsport thing. It had the banner on it.
Hurricane Rana,
no.
Maybe? Is that?
It's not a Hurricane Rana. It's called a Huracan.
Just checking. They all came back. They're all dressed in black, which Chris Jericho made sure to mention. They were back in black. Came out to the ring. Came out of the babyface side, by the way. They are officially babyface. Chris Jericho apologizing to Marvez for being mean to him, apologizing to the entire crowd for being mean to them before, and admitted that, you know what, we got outsmarted by MJF. That little crap.
Jerk
like
off.
We were my jerk off friend. MJF is now known as my jerk off friend.
MJF.
Jericho said I had every intention of bringing him in. I thought he was talented. We were going to squeeze the life out of him into Inner Circle and then discard him, but he outsmarted us. You know what? Fair enough. That being said, MJF, I've been doing this for way longer than you have. I'm way better at it than you are.
You know it.
And you know it. He ran down every single person in the Pinnacle. We called him the Pineapple at first. Which is brilliant. Way better than my peen-ackle. He ran everybody down. Some of those hits were absolutely brutal. Some of the shots he took.
Tully Blanchard, the third wheel of the Fourth Horseman.
Third rate member of the Four Horsemen. Just, Sean Spears, you made the decision to have a blonde mohawk in 2021. I mean, most of these were shots that, pretty fair. The most eloquent one was him saying, hey, oh yeah, Dax and Cash, or is it Cash and Dax, or Axe and Smash, or Axel and Slash? I don't know. Good stuff. Hey,
was this one of the best promos he's ever given?
I thought it was maybe about 2 minutes too long, but it was damn good. And he finished on a real high. You could tell he got his all his boys fired up. The crowd got fired up, and he announced at the end that there was going to be a match they wanted to have last year, but now is appropriate. You want blood? You got it. Blood and guts match coming up between them on May 5th. Coming up very soon. 3 weeks. 4 weeks. When are we? 4 weeks. May 5th. Blood and guts match. Pinnacle versus Inner Circle. Good Lord. Yes, that's going to be with all of the talent involved in this, it's going to be absolutely amazing. Another little bit with Jericho later in the show. As I said, he apologized to Alex Marvez, was about to say something, got jumped by the Pinnacle backstage. They all beat him up, brought him out to the ring. We're ready to absolutely end poor Chris Jericho, when who should come out to save him but Iron Mike Tyson. What? Last time we saw Iron Mike, he and Jericho were yelling at each other like they were about to kill each other, but apparently they buried the hatchet. Mike came out, ripped off his shirt. Someone teach that man how to rip off his shirt all the way. Just hung around his waist the rest of the time. He absolutely ended Sean Spears' life in the corner. He just straight up fist of the North Star. Just like he just throwing so many body blows on Sean Spears in the corner. His arms just became blurs, like in the Matrix. Right. Oh, just wrecking Sean Spears. Sean Spears doesn't even have an abdomen anymore. He's just a chest and legs.
Tried to throw a table at him outside the ring.
Didn't do anything. Iron Mike Tyson. And then the rest of Inner Circle, who were locked in their dressing room, finally broke through the door and came out for the save and stood tall. How excited are you for Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle? Or do they need to build the Pinnacle up more as heels?
I thought they need a little bit more build, but we've got a month. We got 3 weeks. We can do it. I'm excited for it. It's going to be good.
This is one of those cases where, Nick, I think there's two kinds of storytelling. There's comic book movies and there's Game of Thrones.
Okay.
And by that I mean, in comic book movies, as opposed to comic books where hero and villain fight for decades, you kill the villain in the movie, right? The Joker dies at the end of Batman with Michael Keaton, the Michael Keaton version at least, right? You kill Thanos. You kill the big baddie at the end of the movie to get some sort of redemption. It's over very quickly, right? The bad guy only has the first 2/3 of the movie to really get the heat, and then the hero kills him. Game of Thrones, the heroes didn't start coming back until season 6. You had the bad guys getting heat for 5 goddamn seasons. That's what the NWO did in WCW. They took a whole year of getting heat. And you could argue it's also politics as well, but that's Kevin Sullivan. That's good booking to make sure that when someone finally does beat someone from the NWO, it's a huge freaking deal. Right. With the Pinnacle here, I feel like it's comic book booking, right? You just made this big faction. They're bad guys. They've barely had time to be an evil faction, right? MJF put them together yes, we have a lot of build with MJF, but not with this faction. You made the Sinister Six at the end of the movie, and then all of a sudden the hero's going to come in and beat them. It seems like it's too soon for me.
I'll wait on judging it until we see what we get in the next 3 weeks.
Sure. Maybe they can build something the next 3 weeks, and I'll eat my words. Right now, Inner Circle coming back, standing tall. It did seem a little bit soon to then make the blow-off match. But as you said, Nick, maybe their Pinnacle will have some heat spots the next couple of weeks. Lord knows they need them. We mentioned Hangman Page earlier. He might be free to go help Jon Moxley because he's officially the number 1 contender for the AEW Championship after beating Max Caster in a slightly sloppy match here to open the show. Is it too soon for Hangman to be going for Omega given their long-term storyline, which you love so much, Nick?
I want to say yes. I think it would have been more fun to send Caster up there. And frankly, it would have been better for Caster. Because one, this gets us to the end too soon. Because if you send Hangman up there after this arc that he's been on and he doesn't win, what then?
I've got 2 answers for you. One, I think Max Caster, as he showed in this match, is not ready to face Kenny Omega. I mean that point, like the wrestler. No, I mean the wrestler, not the character. He was definitely the weak part of this match. Maybe he had an off night. I don't know. Usually I'm a fan of his, but he does seem like he's still a little green. But as far as your question about Hangman Page, what if he goes for Omega and fails again? Do you remember Tommy Dreamer in ECW?
I mean, of course.
But you remember his booking? His whole purpose was to be the guy who always almost got the championship. It was always about the chase. It was always a constant redemption story for Tommy Dreamer. I wonder if Hangman Page wants his booking in AEW to be the guy who everyone looks at and goes, why isn't he the champ? He should be the champ. And he always goes for the championship and falls just a little bit short, not always because of his fault either. There. It just doesn't quite get there.
That's interesting.
Maybe the best thing for Hangman, given how stacked AEW is with people who could be champion, maybe the best thing for him is to be the Tommy Dreamer of AEW. And Tommy did ultimately win it, but it was very, very short-lived. Right. And I think that should be the case with Hangman too. If he ever wins a championship, it shouldn't be for a long time. He's better off in the chase.
That's true. That's true. I think Kenny's the perfect big evil mastermind to hold the championship. Even more so. I mean, look at juxtapose the title reigns of Jon Moxley for the better part of a year to what we've seen just in this short time with Kenny Omega. It's night and day.
Kenny has been much more of an entertaining champ. We were on the same page, Nick, where we said that Moxley was like Batman holding the championship, where he was only as good as his villains. And some of them just were not as exciting. Like, some of them were exciting, some of them weren't. Brian Cage was not exciting. Brody Lee was exciting.
Kind
of. Eddie Kingston was great.
Kingston was phenomenal.
The Brody Lee build was not great. The match itself was phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, yeah, and that's the thing with Kenny, is that he has a ton of story around it. Him and Callis have made a great pair. His heel work has been great. But back to Hangman Page. Kenny Omega should keep holding it. Hangman could conceivably go have that match and lose and still have some good story.
And he has to go back to the bottom of the contendership line and work his way back up. And like there's a story there. I agree.
Yeah. And he's made enough enemies along the way, someone could screw him. So like I said, no fault of his own.
Kyle threw in 100 bits, said, a question. We're getting blood and guts in a few weeks, and they've seemingly set up 3 different War Games matches. Do they just go full Mad Lad and do 3 War Games matches in one night? Hardy faction versus Dark Order, Pinnacle versus Inner Circle, Bullet Club versus Team Mox, Eddie, and whoever.
If they can get it together in time. I don't know if the Hardy home office or front office, whatever they're calling it, and Dark Order, I don't know if there's enough talent there. Not even talent. Talent's the wrong word. I don't know if there's enough characters there to really do a proper blood and guts match the way you could with Pinnacle and Inner Circle. I think if you had Hardy front office versus Dark Order, it would not look good in context with Inner Circle and Pinnacle doing a blood and guts match. You could have a feud, but I think you could probably have like a big scuffle match. I don't think it should be like a match on the level of like whatever blood and guts match is. I don't think that you should have both of those 2 feuds doing it the same night, or one will look worse by comparison, and it's going to be Hardy front office and Dark Order. And the same goes with, unless you find a good way to differentiate all, like he's saying 3 matches, if they're able to put together a team for Moxley in time. It's just, maybe you have Death Triangle. Maybe a Death Triangle steps in because they're the number one contenders for the tag titles that are currently held by the Young Bucks. That would be a logical team to step in. We'll talk about them in a second. They had some stuff to do on the show tonight, but they could possibly step in. Should they have 3 blood and guts matches? It seems like that would be overkill.
Seems excessive. 2 should be enough.
Seems too much.
I'd rather have 2 big, well-built, long ones than 3 thrown together.
Or just one. One Stadium Stampede. Sure. We didn't need 3 Stadium Stampede matches.
Exactly.
Darby Allin versus J.D. Drake for the TNT Championship.
Oh, Shelby, North Carolina, J.D. Drake. By the way,
goodness.
That's outside of Charlotte, for those that don't know. North Carolina.
Yep, the blue collar brawler.
Man, that's a big boy, too.
Now that Otis is just a goon in American Alpha or Alpha Academy, whatever. This match kicked ass.
It did.
What a great clash of styles. JD Drake, I think, has been overlooked by a lot of people.
He's been having some good matches on Dark.
He sure has. Yeah. And this was definitely a match that showcased the things he could do. This was a night where there's going to be a lot for Botchamania to do on this show. There was a few muffed spots, even in this match. But overall, you had JD Drake being really hard hitting, Darby Allin just trying to change up, do whatever he could to counter what JD Drake was doing using his Daredevil style. One of my favorite Darby Allin matches I've seen in a sense. I think probably the Joey Janela match he had. This was a lot of fun. I really dug it up. Dug it a lot. Even though they didn't let JD Drake have an entrance.
Right. No, you come back from commercial, he's just standing in the ring.
Yeah. And then afterwards, Darby Allin gets beaten down by members of Matt Hardy's front office. Interesting. Perhaps another challenger for next week. Not mad at that. But that led into Tay Conti versus the Bunny. Allie finally getting a proper match again. And looking like Crazy Allie from Impact again, going over and cackling at the ring announcers for a while there. During the scuffle after the Darby Allin match, Dark Order comes in to chase everybody off, and Bunny's left alone.
She didn't realize that everybody else had left her.
Yeah. She
I like
turns
that.
around and Tay Conti jumps her. Good stuff. Tay Conti comes out to the match with -1, and that was adorable. Always warms my heart to see that. What do you think about people saying that AEW is taking advantage of the Huber family and taking advantage of -1 by having him come out on AEW?
I don't think they'd be there if the family didn't want them there.
You don't think that so these people, the idea is that AEW is using them for sympathy and for goodwill, and that's why they're letting -1 be out on the show.
No, I disagree with that.
Yeah, some things are pure, guys.
Why not let something just be good? Why not let something just be okay? Because the kid obviously loves it. He obviously wants to follow in his father's footsteps. Stop shitting on it. And if his mom's okay with it, who the hell are you? Shut up.
There can be good things in this world. Stop being so cynical.
Yeah.
Stop being so jaded.
It's freaking adorable to see a 9-year-old kid coming out in a lucha mask with his shirt off, being escorted to the ring by a hot Brazilian martial artist, getting into a wrestling ring.
He's going to be ruined on women for the rest of his life.
It's fantastic.
Like, really.
Just let it be. Let us have something good. It's good. Let it be good.
It's good. It's beautiful. And this match was good. It was a bit chaos. You had Dark Order and Hardy front office ringside. And Hikaru Shida was ringside. Allie even stole the kendo stick from her at one point and bashed Tay Conti in the arm. Ultimately, though, Shida grabbed it back as Allie was going to go for a big move. And the bunny crashed and burned, got taken off the top rope by Tay Conti, and then ate a TKO.
Which is a very pretty move.
Or, sorry, DDT. DDT?
No, it's TKO. Yeah, TKO.
Is TKO?
Yeah. It's like it's like some weird like Russian leg hip throw kind of thing where she wraps her arm around and then little judo throw.
Yeah, it's awesome. Tay has been fantastic in AEW. She's only gotten better. This was another great case for her being a fantastic worker. Not only that, you had Britt Baker give a great promo during the show saying that she can't believe she's in 4th place. And so she's got to go over to Elevation and Dark to work up her win-loss ratio because it's bull crap. It should be by, you should get title shots by the people who are the most, get most social media engagement, the biggest merch sellers.
Do you need to go to WWE, Britt?
Push the most demos. Well, I think that might have been the little subtle jab there. But she said, fine, I'll do it your way. I'm going to go over and rack up some wins, and I'll be in the title shot. We got Britt Baker talking about going for the title. You've got Allie working again and putting on and being good old Bunny, good old Allie.
People have been sleeping on Allie because she's just been a valet for a year. She can work. She's good in the ring.
She's real good. Tay Conti is turning into their next big woman star. You've got
Chris Statlander's back.
Statlander's back. So the women's division, I think, is it finally starting to feel like it's crystallizing. And Thunder Rosa is still running around. The women's division truly feels like it's starting to crystallize into having true, genuine stars, people who you can get behind and root for, people who, when they go out and have matches, we're not wondering who they are or what they're doing. And for people who say like, well, they need to have time to build it. Well, they built a whole crap ton of men in the same time period. So it does feel, and you got you even have Jade and Red Velvet.
Oh, fire promos!
They got a match. They got a match coming up next week. Yeah, Red Velvet's was fine. It's like, I just hope you're the bitch who can get the job done.
I love it.
Fine, but it's starting to look better. They're
finally gonna get hands on each other next week. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, guess who else got hands on each other? Jurassic Express and Bear Country.
Oh,
I know you had to love this match, Nick. This match was so sloppy, and I did not care.
I loved this
because they built this up as a Godzilla versus King Kong match. Godzilla versus Kong, total tie-in with the movie and everything. And it was basically just mostly. It was
mostly Bear Boulder carrying the match, most of the work.
You had Boulder and Luchasaurus did most of it, and basically Bear and Jungle Boy were there just to kind of bounce off of them and just be there as well. But it was a lot of really big fun moves. Big dudes doing things big dudes shouldn't be able to do.
That's a guy that's bigger than Braun Strowman. He's as big as Braun Strowman, but he can do more stuff than Braun Strowman. He's 339 pounds, they kept saying. 340-pound man.
Man. I think Braun's a little taller
Might
than
be.
him, but he's in that range. He's in that class of dudes in terms
The
of
super
size.
heavyweights, yeah.
Yeah, super duper ultra mega S class heavyweights. So yeah, it was just fun. It was fun. Like I said, it was a little sloppy. There was a couple of missed spots, but the spots they hit were awesome.
Yes.
So do you think this is the beginning of like another long-term meta feud, kind of like MJF and Sammy Guevara or Darby and Sami, or like the feuds where the two guys just hate each other, and you know that there's always going to be like these, they're going to keep coming back to them over and over. They don't need to have a feud. At some point in the future, they could just jumpstart a feud between them again, and we know they have history. Is this another one of those where you think these two teams have that kind of chemistry, or was it fun but not that kind of chemistry?
You know what I just realized? I can't place who the actual AEW tag team champions are right now.
The Young Bucks.
It is the Bucks.
Yeah.
This is what's going on with me with the tag team division in AEW. There are so many moving parts that I lost track. Like in my head, I was sitting here going, who are the actual champions, and how does Bear Country get to them?
It's funny you say that, because we also had Death Triangle come out to say, hey, we're the number one contenders to the Young Bucks tag team championships. And you had the Best Friends come out to say, hey, remember this time last year when Death Triangle formed and you beat the crap out of us and Penta really creepily bit Orange Cassidy's ear? We didn't forget.
And we've got an
Pepperidge
alien
Farm
now.
Remembers. Yeah. So there's two more tag teams that could potentially have a feud. Next week, we're getting Death Triangle versus the Bucks. I feel like that's going to lead into the Death Triangle joining up with Moxley. Now that the more I say it, the more it seems to make sense.
Okay.
Against the Bucks. But you also have the Best Friends there saying, we got next on Death Triangle. We want to have a feud with you guys at some point. When they pull the trigger on that, I don't know either. So to your point of the moving parts in the tag division, they wanted to have the biggest, best tag division in the world. I'd say they accomplished
Mission
it.
accomplished.
The problem is they've got too many dudes and only 2 championships, and you kind of makes the championships less relevant because there are so many people.
It just continues to make the argument for the trios titles at some point.
You took the words out of my mouth. Also, Lance Archer and Jake Roberts took the words out of Sting's mouth, because once again, for the 7th week in a row, that's not even to mention the ones before that, Sting comes out to have an interview with Tony Schiavone. Again. But luckily, he doesn't even get started. Now it's become a trope to have Lance and Jake Roberts actually interrupt them. Now that's become the trope. Jake Roberts coming out saying, the definition of insanity is doing something over and over again, expecting different results. You come out here to have an interview, we're going to interrupt you because you're taking up our time. And out comes Lance Archer at a certain point to say, I've had enough. I want my time. I should be in the main event. I keep getting jerked around by AEW. They keep putting me in the main event, and I disappear. Main event, and I disappear. When is it my time to actually stick around? And Sting grabs the mic from him and says, I agree with you. Well, actually, it's Sting. So, well, I agree with you. I think that you're a swell guy, Lance Archer. You're the kind of guy I could see hanging out with over my grapefruit and tea in the morning. You're a swell, not like that Jake Roberts. He's a meanie. I'm not a fan. You shut your hole, Jake Roberts. Mr. Lance Archer, I think you're really swell. In fact, I think you're just as good as you say you are. By golly, by gum. So you just keep your chin up there, son, and you just work harder and say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and have some granola, just like your Uncle Sting here, and you too one day could be top of the card.
By golly.
By golly, by gum. And that was the segment. Sting gave a freaking pep talk to Lance Archer. It was bizarre. What? Lance is still coming out of the face tunnel.
Is it bad that I wanted to see Sting and Roberts throw hands and have them tussle? Like Lance and Lance have to separate them?
It almost
just to bring back some of that old shit from 30 years ago?
I didn't know who was heel, who was face here. It was bizarre. It was Sting giving a pep talk to Lance Archer and saying, like, you can do it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all there was. So, all right. I don't know where they're going with this. Like I thought there might be a feud between Sting and Lance. Maybe they're going to transfer Lance to being Sting's Padawan instead of Jake Roberts's. I don't know. Sting was out with the Dark Order chasing off
Jake Roberts,
the
Sting,
Hardy
and Tony
front office.
Schiavone are still on my television in 2021. That's the takeaway. Like, holy shit.
It's awesome. It's just they're doing the same damn thing every week, and that's what I don't like. Get to the point and stop letting Sting sound like Grandpa out there. It's bad.
Papaw Sting.
Papaw Sting. By golly, I'm gonna stand here and I'm gonna talk about America. I'm gonna filibuster. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna filibuster until you guys take me seriously. We have a vote on this issue. Mr. Sting goes to Washington. That's right. But we mentioned earlier Team Taz and Christian as possible people who could help out Moxley. They're busy. Christian was backstage talking about his match with Frankie Kazarian, put over Frankie, and then got approached by Taz, who said, "Hey, buddy, we go back a ways. Why don't you join Team Taz?" And Christian looks at him funny, and Taz goes, No. Take some time.
Sleep on it.
You sleep on it. Come back. Get back to me. Okay. Hey. And he takes off, and later on we get all Team Taz backstage. They're still griping at each other. Cage and Starks don't like each other. Taz basically they're saying, "Hey, I gave a Valentine to the pretty girl. None of you mooks do anything stupid to make her not like us." That's basically what that segment was. What do you think about Christian possibly being in and or feuding with Team Taz?
I think he and Ricky Starks could have an interesting match. That's
he and Brian Cage. Cage versus Cage. A cage off. Cage squared.
I think Brian Cage would destroy him.
Maybe that's for the best. It's worth noting how Christian is Christian is on TV compared to how Edge was this week.
Night and day.
You know, Christian came into AEW like a wet blanket and got dropped out of the main event scene almost immediately. Like we talked about fail fast in AEW. No one dug him in the main event scene, and he was gone.
Brian Cage versus Christian Cage in a cage match with Ricky Starks in a shark cage, suspended. The ultimate cage match.
My head exploded there. Referee Hangman Page. All right.
That's enough of that, Howell.
I'm going to take this joke off the stage. Yeah. So interesting. I think it's better if he feuds with them. I mean, him joining them could only help him and them, but they're already having all this dissension angle. I don't know. They lose one cage, get another cage. I don't know. None of that seems like it's lightning in a bottle for me. But lightning in a bottle is what you get when you let QT Marshall and Anthony Ogogo cut promos on Cody and the Nightmare Family. Oh, sweet Lord. QT Marshall. Yo.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Welcome to the dance, my son. Like, we knew Anthony Ogogo could talk. He's been doing commentary over there on Dark a little bit. It's one of the things that brought him to the dance was the man can talk. And he cut a great promo introducing himself to people who might not watch Dark and Elevation. And I love his turn of phrase where he says, "That's right. I'm on subway signs in Britain for money, but I punch people for fun." Because he's famous in Britain. He's a former Olympian, a bronze medalist, I believe, in boxing. So he's well known over there. Maybe not so much here. Introduces himself. Nick Camarado, the big scary guy hanging out in the background. Aaron Solo, the big scary guy hanging on the foreground. And QT Marshall burning Cody to the goddamn ground with his promo. Saying you had to go somewhere else. You couldn't handle it in the Fed. You couldn't get over as Dusty's kid, so you wore face paint and hung out with DiBiase's kid. And then you had to go on the indies and surround yourself with vanilla midgets so you could feel like the superstar that you always wished you had been. Sweet mother of God, leave him something.
Oh, that cuts deep.
There was... Oh, my God. He said your catchphrase shouldn't be do the work. It should be do the work for me. So,
because that's what I've been doing. I've been doing all the work for you.
Yeah. So I really hope that they let QT Marshall's faction here have a bite as nasty as their bark was this week. And I'll leave it at that.
Just send Camarado up against anybody. That dude Just him looming in the background, just mugging the camera. He just looks mean. Turn that villain, turn that big bastard loose.
Dude, he was made in a pro wrestling vat. Genetically created for pro wrestling. So yeah, great fire promo from these guys, fire bit. And that was AEW, a very solid show, even though they did get beaten in the ratings by NXT for the last time. NXT leaves the time slot on top for the one time. They get them. They had to have a takeover to do it, but they did it. AEW didn't throw a whole ton of stuff at them, but it was still an entertaining show to watch. Some nice story advancement and some great promos as well. So, Nick, that leaves us only one thing to do here before we head on off to WrestleMania weekend, and that is do a little something that we like to call our moment of positivity. The moment of positivity. That's right. It's the time where we talk about something. We find something. We know we started the show off so salty about SmackDown. Oh, so salty. We want to make up for that. We want to leave this show on an up note, a positive note, something that we can say that made us smile. Hopefully will make you smile as well. Nick, what was your moment of positivity for these last few days?
Oh, man. It's hard not to talk about Stand and Deliver. It was a very, very good 2 nights of wrestling to kind of wet the whistle for WrestleMania, what's to come.
Oh, my whistle is wet.
A bit of a smattering of the good matches before we got into it. I want to focus on on WrestleMania, and AEW. Since we're gonna have WrestleMania, we're gonna do a lot of mops. For me, I looked at WrestleMania, and I keep saying WrestleMania. I looked at AEW this afternoon.
AEW.
And there were 2 big things I want to call out. I want to give an honorable mention to Tay, the work that she's done, and Bunny, and the match that they had. I was very surprised to see Sheeta get involved as the champion. That was a bit odd. But
she and Conti are apparently friends. That's the storyline. I hope it leads to a friend versus friend match, something like that. I don't know. We'll see.
But I have to say, this story that they're building around the greater orbit of Kenny Omega as champion, I'm all in at this point. I am so bought into this. Everything that they're doing with Kenny Omega as champion. I wanted this. I wanted Kenny to be champion from the day Dynamite started. I was sitting there going, how do we get Kenny Omega, the wrestling god, the best wrestler in the world, back from 2017 New Japan? How do we get him back in a title position like this to be the best wrestler in the world? By God, we've done it. We've done it. He's back. I absolutely love everything that's going on. I love the way that they're inventing ways to make him an even bigger deal by involving him with Impact, by having this sort of friend angle, like are we friends or are we not, with ex-Bullet Club and ex-Elite members. Like this, everything that's going on with Kenny Omega right now, I have nothing critical to say. Even Don Callis is annoying as F, but it's so good and it's so perfect. He is the perfect annoying manager for Kenny Omega. And look at the doors it's opened. We're now theorizing that it's potentially possible that the Guerrillas of Destiny, or at least Tama Tonga, could be coming over to join up with Jon Moxley to fight Kenny Omega. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility that is a real thing. Kenta showed up with the briefcase on AEW television. So the things that are going around with Kenny Omega right now, I am so all in on. If I watch AEW for nothing else, and there's so much more to watch it for, but I definitely am signing up just to watch whatever the hell is going on with that guy. Let me do a couple of call-outs real quick before we lose them. Kyle, throwing 100 bits, said, I love QT just for ripping the meat off Cody's bones.
Oh, my goodness.
Was vicious.
Savage.
Absolutely
Beautiful.
Vicious. Kyle, throwing another 100 bits, said, my mop fans are back, enough to be suitably audible for the first time since everything shut down until WWE drowns it out with what they actually want you to hear.
Right, well, we'll see what they do at WrestleMania.
It's going to be interesting.
We'll see if I'm very curious to see if they keep with the piped-in sound when they actually have a real crowd there.
Here's the other thing. They were targeting getting 45,000. They wanted to hit the same numbers the Super Bowl did in the same venue, right? which was 45,000 fans per night. They're having trouble selling out. They haven't sold out.
Which is wild.
So,
I mean, there are travel restrictions in place. They usually have an international crowd as well, and that's probably hard for international fans to get over. That's probably one reason why.
I heard current sales are in the 20 to 25,000 range.
Ooh, that low? Half as much?
Not, a little over half, yeah.
I know they're talking about putting out the cardboard cutouts in seats. But, yeah, again, like I said, I think that's mostly to do with the international crowd not being able to make it. But
I suspect we might see something kind of like Thunderdome where it's only half, and they stick to not showing the back and tarp it off.
I wonder, or like I said, they do the cardboard cutouts. Yeah. But we'll see. I just hope that, like I said, just the sooner they can stop doing that piped-in canned music, piped-in canned cheers, the better.
How about you, Surrey and Dangerous? What was your moment of positivity?
Ooh, this is tough.
Spoiled for choice this week.
Spoiled for choice. I could easily pick out a bunch of things from Stand and Deliver. I could pick out a few things from AEW. I could pick out nothing from SmackDown. That's not true. There's a couple things if I really wanted to be positive I could. But Edge's promo.
Sami Zayn.
All the promos. Sami Zayn just in general. Big E in general. But I think what I want my moment of positivity to be is something hopeful. And that is that after a build that we have definitely questioned for WWE, we're still sitting here with what looks to be a pretty awesome WrestleMania card. There's a lot of, on paper, good matches on this card. Good matchups, people who will make a good match. And that right there is positive. That we're looking at having 2 days of really good WWE wrestling. And that's my moment of positivity. Like I'm actually, despite the fact that the build was lacking, I'm still looking forward to WrestleMania. Yeah. And you can call me a dreamer, Roman, but I'm not the only one.
Hey, there you go.
Because I do think this will actually be a pretty solid WrestleMania. Obviously, as always, there will be some duds. But I think that overall, we'll be very happy with this WrestleMania. We will end up saying it was a good show. Yeah. I think that we will end satisfied. And that's what I think they should be going for, is just satisfy a crowd that hasn't had a real big, crazy show. Even if it's not a full capacity crowd, it's a crowd. We haven't had that in a year.
It's a crowd, and there's going to be millions of dollars of pyro flying off the stadium. We haven't had that in over a year.
Send us home happy.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. My moment of positivity is being hopeful that they will send us home happy. And there you go.
There you go. Well, guys, the time is up. The time is now.
Oh, man.
You have to make your picks, and you got till 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow to get them locked in. Patrons, if you guys still have time, if you'd like to get signed up, head over to patreon.com/BWO. So all you got to be in is that $5 tier, and you can get access to the form to submit your picks for WrestleMania and the BWO Patron Pick'ems Championship as well. As I said before, we will have some smaller prize packs for the winners of NXT. Congratulations to Andrew England, who will be taking that one home as our NXT winner. Or Stand and Deliver winner, and we will have one for whoever wins WrestleMania, but we will be crowning the first grand BWO Patron Pick'ems champion for both, for cumulative. So you still have time to get in for WrestleMania if you'd like to at patreon.com/BWO. Again, all you got to be in is that $5 tier, but everything else you can find over at linktree.com/BWO. Like, share, subscribe, tell everybody about our Discord community, especially share us on Twitter, do all of those kinds of things. Help us build the show. Help us tell people that we've been doing this. We're going to be doing this all week for 6 days. Shout out to Kyle for sharing with Peter Rosenberg that we were doing this kind of marathon over on Twitter. Thank you for that nod there, Kyle. Really appreciate it. But yeah, linktree.com/BWO. Thank you, patrons, for all your support. Thank you, Kyle, and for all the bits and subs over here on Twitch tonight. Shout out to everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll be back tomorrow night, night 1 of WrestleMania. The kickoff is at 6 p.m. Eastern. The main show starts at 7 p.m. So we'll see you guys in Discord for the kickoff show at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. And we'll be back immediately after, probably around 11 to 12 p.m. Eastern. I just completely
There you
lost
go,
my train
buddy.
because it would be 12 a.m. at that point. My mind kind of went, error. So we'll be back immediately after WrestleMania Night 1 tomorrow night right here on BWO Live to give you a recap of everything that went down on Night 1, give you an update on where the Pick'ems stand. We have a feeling it's going to be a bloodbath with that Tag Team Turmoil match going on and several other matches that are going on. But we'll see what happens right here on our Pick'ems. But we'll be back here on BWO Live for you guys tomorrow night immediately after the show. Until then, my name is Nick Howell. You can find me on Twitter at DataCenterDude.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Ian Dangerous.
My God!
Would somebody stop the damn match?
This show is part of the Orbital Jigsaw Network. For more episodes, subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio. For details and show notes from each episode, check us out, orbitaljigsaw.com.